So, in the past, I have quit sugar, I have quit processed carbs, I have quit smoking, that was 10 years ago, and now I've quit dairy and quit coffee in medical school. One of the most challenging educational experiences of my life. Definitely one of the most taxing, requiring lots of energy, lots of focus, lots of perseverance, things that coffee usually help with. So why the heck did I do this? Like basically the outline of the video is why? Why am I quitting coffee? Number 2, how? How did I do it? And number 3, what happened? So what were the results? Did I get the results that I wanted? How did my mood get affected? My sleep, my grades, my school, all that kind of stuff. And then am I going to keep doing this? What's next? Hi, I'm Laura. I'm a medical student and nutritionist here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I'm super passionate about bringing more nutritional therapy and lifestyle modifications to medicine and being the kind of physician that I think everyone deserves. Okay, so why? Why did I want to remove the beautiful coffee from my life? Well, I actually decided not just to remove coffee, but caffeine. And the reason is, first of all, I have a systemic nickel allergy. So that's one of the reasons why I eat a predominantly animal-based diet, because animal foods have the least amount of nickel in them. So I get really terrible eczema. I get eczema so bad on my hands that they scab up. I can't even bend my fingers. It's really gross. I got MRSA from it, almost had to get my finger cut off because of it, so it's really important. So I've been able to keep my eczema levels really, really low, hardly ever happening when I'm very strict on that kind of diet, but I have maintained coffee and alcohol, both of which will give me just the tiniest hint right here on my hand sometimes. And so I wondered if maybe if I removed caffeine, if it would go away completely. I also have had serious constipation problems throughout my adult life. And when I eat foods that make all my other problems worse, I don't have constipation. When I eat the way that makes everything else better, then I do get constipation. So I've been trying to figure out how can I still eat in a way that makes me healthy, but that I am not having constipation. And while I know that for most people, caffeine and coffee will actually help people go to the bathroom and may even give them diarrhea, I have never been that person. So I thought maybe after some research, there are some people, some types of constipation that can be relieved by reducing their caffeine consumption. So I thought I would try that. I was definitely drinking too much coffee. I know that. I was definitely addicted. So in my nutritional therapy training, one of the things that was really interesting that one of my instructors said was, if there's a food that you absolutely cannot imagine ever giving up, that is likely something that causes problems in your body. And so using that logic, I thought, you know what? I've tried to remove so many other things and I've made so many improvements, but I'm not quite where I want to be. Maybe removing caffeine will get me even further down my healing journey. So how did I do it? I learned a lot from quitting smoking. Quitting smoking is notoriously one of the most challenging things that a human being can do. I believe it's supposed to be more challenging than stopping heroin. I don't know if that's true, because I also think that I say that about sugar, and now I think maybe I confuse them. Removing sugar is also very challenging. It's very, very powerful on the brain. So anyway, things that I have learned, there are several things, and I will basically list them out and then talk about what I did for quitting coffee with each of those things. So it's really important to go cold turkey when you're addicted to something. It is really important to identify with that change. It is really important to have a plan for your withdrawal, because it's going to happen. And it's important to keep the ritual, not the habit, and then supplement some good vibes. Okay, so it's got to be cold turkey if you're addicted. What I mean by this is, when you're addicted, if you try to just, because I thought that this was going to be my plan for quitting smoking, is that I would just smoke less and less over time. It turns out that's like the worst thing you could possibly do, because you're just drawing out the withdrawal process. You're taking, your body's used to this amount, and then it's going this amount, and it's going to experience some withdrawals, and you're going to feel crappy, and then you're just going to reduce it a little bit more. You're going to feel crappy forever, when you could just go from here to here and just feel crappy for this amount of time. Do you know what I'm saying? So try to do cold turkey if you can. The second thing, and there are tons of studies on this, a lot with smoking and weight loss and all sorts of things, try to identify with this change. Not be like, I can't have coffee, I can't have caffeine, but I am no longer a person that consumes caffeine. Just like when I decided to quit smoking, I am no longer a smoker. I will never have nicotine cross my lips. Or or I do not eat sugar. I will no longer have processed sugar in my diet ever again. I am not a sugar eater. I am a person that does not eat sugar. Okay, so you gotta say these things to yourself, identify with it. This is part of your identity. And I think that's one of the reasons why people love to get kind of religious about their dietary changes, because it actually helps them stick to them. Not because they should really be doing that, because I mean, that's another conversation, but I think that we tend towards that sort of behavior and thinking because it actually helps us be successful at a very difficult thing that we want to do, which is quit very addictive substances. So identify with it. So I am no longer a coffee drinker. I am no longer a caffeine drinker. Okay, you want to minimize the fallout, so have a withdrawal plan. So what I did was I knew I had a final, I had my gastrointestinal final on a Thursday, and I thought, okay, I want to give myself as much time as possible to deal with this withdrawal. So right after an important test is when I'm going to start. Unfortunately, the very next day I had an early morning lab, and it's really important to be alive for that. So what I did is I stopped drinking coffee. Thursday was my last coffee before my GI final. And then Friday morning I had a 100 milligram caffeine pill. And that was so I could still be there and present for my classmates, working with them on our cadaver. And that was the last caffeine that I had because I knew I needed to go through the withdrawal process. So I started real quick, just a little bit of caffeine, and then I had no more. And so then I had the withdrawal over the weekend. And by Monday, even though I had some fatigue, I no longer had really terrible headaches. I no longer had to sleep through half the day. I was starting to feel normal again. Keep the ritual, replace the habit. So I kept the ritual of having a warm drink in the morning. What I'd have is just hot water with a pinch of salt in it. And of course it wasn't as delicious as coffee, but I still had that warm thing. I still went and heated up the water and poured things out and sat with my hot drink. So I had that ritual, but the habit was replaced with something healthier, with water. I believe that this helps you kind of baby step out of addiction. So you no longer have the thing that you're addicted to, but you have maintained the ritual. So you're not giving up both the habit and the ritual, because rituals can be really nice. So for example, when I quit smoking, I still would go out and sit with my fellow friends and smokers, or I would just go out and sit where I used to smoke on my smoke breaks, and I would just bring out a drink and I would enjoy the weather and I would think and I would drink my drink, but I wouldn't smoke. And that helped me maintain the ritual. Some of the things that I enjoyed that maybe I was smoking just to get those calm moments and times to myself, or times interacting with others when really I didn't need the nicotine at all. And that really helped. Okay, so good mood supplements. This is optional, you don't have to do this. For myself, I really focused on electrolytes because I was getting headaches, and I knew that helping with the headaches, things like magnesium would help, things like potassium and sodium. So I made a bunch of broth. Last week's video was about meat broth. It's a short cook broth that has a lot of awesome nutrients in it that can help with healing, and it's delicious and it's hot. It can totally replace coffee, so give that a try. I also had a lot of Gatorade Zero, so zero sugar, but it was tasty and it had electrolytes in it, and I would have that in the afternoon because I'd get little mild headaches in the middle of the afternoon. I would have a Gatorade Zero and I would feel better afterwards. I would also just put a little pinch of sea salt in my water sometimes. So electrolytes are really important to me getting through this. You could also take tyrosine. Tyrosine is a precursor to catecholamines, and catecholamines are things like epinephrine, norepinephrine, dopamine. Those are kind of like energizing, reward neurotransmitters that you get in your body. And so sometimes supplementing with tyrosine helps boost those. And like I said, magnesium. Magnesium's a good one, especially if you're getting headaches. You just need to relax. Magnesium can help with that. Okay, so what happened? I did get very slight headaches. I think I got two decent headaches, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. I mostly was really sleepy. I just kind of laid around all day Saturday. I think I binged an entire series on Netflix and just kind of slept in between, and then just had a lot of electrolytes. And I think I also had some awesome barbecue that my partner made, so that was really nice. Like add some things to look forward to during your withdrawal period that can help you get through it. Sleep. So I use sleep trackers, and I will post some of these, but so I use the Oura Ring, and I also use Fitbit, and it looks to me like the length of sleep and the amounts of REM and deep sleep and light sleep, it looks like relatively the same from before, but I will say that how I feel like I'm falling asleep faster, and also coming out of sleep, it feels more like a switch instead of a fade in. I don't know if that makes sense. But I felt like before I was kind of fading into sleep and fading out of sleep and waking up more slowly. And now it's like, okay, I'm asleep. Okay, I'm awake. I don't know what that means, but it feels healthier. I don't know. Maybe I'm just convincing myself of that. Mood-wise, I definitely had bad moods. For the first several days, I was irritable and not my best self. I wasn't definitely not the worst version of myself, but I was irritable for at least a week, but definitely the first couple days. And then week 2, I started feeling almost completely normal. Through week 3 and 4, I still would get very slight headaches in the afternoon. And I'd say that is still kind of persisting, just less and less frequently. I'm kind of surprised by it, to be honest. But like I said, I will have the electrolytes when that happens and it goes away. So I don't have to take any pain medication or anything like that. Ability to study definitely was impacted the first 5 days. I didn't study at all on Saturday. I did study on Sunday, relatively, I think 4 or 5 hours. Monday, I had to sleep in the middle of the day. It wasn't that productive, but it did get more and more productive. And now I would say I feel like I'm almost more focused. I'm doing better. My brain feels better without coffee. Oh, I'm being honest. Now, the most exciting thing is that I think this fixed my constipation because, okay, so we're going to talk about poop for a second. I hope you're okay with it. Not in detail, but before this, I would poop 4 to 5 times a month and I would have to force it with either an enema or having a bunch of MCT oil, which to me is not natural. That's not okay. I mean, it's fine. You got to do what you got to do to poop, but it's not okay for the long term. I needed to find a fix. I have now averaged almost 4 to 5 times a week since I removed caffeine. So it worked. It worked for me. Pretty incredible. And then finally my eczema, I have to say, I literally almost cannot. There's maybe a tiny bit of roughness here, remnants, but it's almost perfect skin now. Needless to say, I think I'm going to continue with this for at least another month, maybe more, but it feels pretty awesome to not be addicted to anything. I mean, maybe I am addicted to this, I don't know. But that was my last kind of addiction, and it's incredible to not have that. I can wake up and just have water. It's great. So anyway, I hope that this helped you. If you have questions, leave them below. Subscribe. I talk about dietary intervention, lifestyle intervention, things that will help you feel better and hopefully reverse or prevent chronic illness and to be the best version of yourself. I hope you take care and hope to see you next week. Bye.